Blog Talk Radio.
Rockers in Recovery Media is dedicated to carrying the message of addiction recovery through music, news, events, and festivals taking place within and not limited to the clean and sober community.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Waking Up Blessed. My name is John Hollis. I'm the host for the show. If you are tuning in for the first time, this is about starting our day with inspirational stories of experience, strength, and hope. You know something, being human is what we are. We get to each day. By the grace of God, some days we get to wake up, with some love and light in our heart, and other days we don't, so we have to get right, and I know I do some days. So the good news is that I get to reposition myself in the morning and get to step out in to the community and do the best that I possibly can, and I do that, for myself, through prayer and meditation. But everybody's different, That's why we have this show. Everybody does it differently. Everybody has their own connections. Everybody starts their day differently, and we like to have a variety so that way people can hear from others that, how they start their day and how they get through trials and tribulations of the day, and the good stuff, too. So this morning, we have a great guy on. His name is Robert Gluck. I've known Robert for, 24 years or something like that. It's been insane, but he's one of the, over the years, he's become a really good friend, not only to me, but to my family, and we love him very much. So we're going to bring Robert on. We're going to find out how he starts his day. And Robert, welcome to the show. Thank you for being on Waking Up Blessed.
Morning, John. How are you?
Good, man. Hey, listen, first of all, I want our audience to understand that Robert does some great legal work. He, does personal injury, does criminal defense and Marchman Act cases. He does all of that stuff. But foremost, he's a human being. How do you start your day, Robert?
Well, today I started my day by getting up at 6:30 to go to lift weights with a personal trainer from 7 to 8. And, of course, I pay the trainer because if I didn't have a trainer that I paid, I wouldn't go. So it kind of forces myself to go. So that's what I do at least twice a week, and usually 3 days a week. And then the other 2 days a week, I sleep as late as I can and get up at around 8 o'clock in the morning and go straight to work.
Do you find that, through your days when you're dealing with trials and tribulations, because hey, listen, you're in the courthouse a lot, you deal with a lot of different clients, and the insanity level of that can be, stressful enough. How do you deal with stressors during the day?
So the way I deal with stressors during the day is I just always have in the back of my mind that there's two things in life that I love to do when I'm not working. One is playing basketball, and the other one is playing guitar. So I schedule those things on my calendar with my regular schedule, and I make my regular schedule around the things that I enjoy doing. So when I'm stressed out during the day, for example, if it's Thursday, I could say, well, I may be stressed out now, but in about 5 hours I'll be up in Parkland playing basketball, so it's not going to be that bad. So that gets me through the day. Or if it's a Wednesday, you know what? I have a guitar lesson tonight when I get home, so, I enjoy that, so I can get through the day so I can get to something I enjoy. So if you have those things that you enjoy and they're worked into your day, you can get through the difficult times by looking forward to the fun stuff.
Do you find that, and you're a big music buff, and, Robert has supported Rockers in Recovery festivals in the past, and he does a lot of festival traveling and a lot of music traveling. Do you find that music is, for you, something that helps you to, chill out to?
Yeah, so that's just kind of underlying everything I do is the music and the type of music that, it's funny, I guess I'm a big fan of a musician I never thought I'd be a fan of, John Mayer, when he literally transformed himself into Jerry Garcia. So, guitar-wise, ability-wise, not looks-wise, thank God. But I get it. I really enjoy the jam band music scene. I enjoy following following Fish, and I enjoy following the Grateful Dead, and I enjoy following bands like Widespread Panic, and I enjoy music festivals when I can go to them, and some local festivals, and of course your Rockers in Recovery events over the years have always been great fun too.
Do you think, when you look at the big picture of what's going on in the world today, hey, listen, there's a lot of discord, there's a lot of, just a lot of hate going on out there. Do you think music can really bridge the gap for people, in our future here? Or, listen, you see the deep state, you see all these insanities going on. And, you kind of try to step out of it. You don't want to, take a position or get involved because it just becomes so much drama. How do you deal with those things?
I step back and I look and I think I'd like to think that music is the thing that can bring everyone together and and harmonize everyone. But I don't know. I'd like to hope it could. But you look, music is factioned. You've got people that are into jam bands. You've got people that are into country music. You've got people that are into hip hop. You've got people that are into techno music, and it's just I don't know that music can be the unifying force for society as it used to be, but I sure hope that it could be. There are certain times that I think it is when I go to a stadium show and I see 80,000 people and you look around, you see young, old, black, white, all socioeconomic classes, and it does give you hope. And I'll tell you that there's an event going on right now that my daughter in California is at. That's Burning Man out in the middle of the Nevada desert. That's a talk about just creating a community and putting it in the desert of people that can all get along with each other for a week. And
amazing.
That's what they're doing now.
So here's, and bringing that into the whole rocker, and the whole Rockers in Recovery thing, and of course what you do for work, it's important for people to understand that here in the state of Florida, there is a thing that you call the Marchman Act, and I want Robert to talk about that, but it's important that we understand that over the years, we have found that, hey, listen, people associate music and drugs and alcohol and all of that. And what we've tried to do is show that you don't have to do that. You can recreate that whole thing, that you can be a rocker in recovery, and you don't have to use to enjoy the music. But most importantly, if somebody was out there and they're struggling today and the family members don't know what to do, Robert, you have something that can help them, correct?
I do, and the Marchman Act is something real important to talk about. And but just to follow up on your point first, very briefly, you're 100% correct. People don't go see. My friends, all of the folks that I know, we don't go do acid to go see rock and roll concerts and go see the Grateful Dead. We don't do that. We create a reunion. We look at a music festival or a series of concerts that we go to is all our friends getting to get together that we haven't seen, and once a year we all meet in a certain place, and we'd like to be sober when we do that, so we remember it actually. So
that's right.
Anyway, so I see though when I do go to these festivals that for the most part, most everybody can handle what they're doing, but people are in need of addiction recovery. So the Marchman Act, Florida. If somebody's addicted to drugs or alcohol to the extent that they don't even realize they need treatment and they're endangering themselves, and their family has tried to put them in rehabs, in and out, and they're worried that they're going to kill themselves or harm someone else, you have a recourse in Florida. The family could call me. I could file a petition in mental health court. It doesn't affect their criminal record. It's got nothing to do with a crime. You could force them into detox and force them into treatment eventually after the detox period of 5 days. And then you could force them into treatment for up to 90 days if they need it. So there's due process. The person that's served a petition for a Marchman Act, they get appointed a lawyer, and they could challenge it and say they don't need treatment. So there's due process, but that the family has a remedy, and most people in Florida don't know about it. You could force your loved one into treatment to save their life. And John, I'm not lying to you. I had a close friend whose 24-year-old son was sitting in a waiting room outside of court for a Marchman Act last week, and he looked at me and he said, "Robert, I just want to go home." And I looked at him and I said, "Your father told me you snorted heroin last week. You really think you want to go home? What do you think you're going to do when you go home?" And he said, "I'm probably going to buy drugs." So he went in front of the judge, and we had a Marchman Act hearing, and he said, "I want to go home." So the judge found good cause to believe that he needed residential treatment. And he flatlined a week before, and his mother had to have him resuscitated because he was sitting in his room after doing heroin. So it's a scary thing. And this kid is now in a facility in the middle of Florida, and he's going to get 90 days of residential treatment, and he's going to save his life.
Beautiful. You know, and that being said, there's some other things, too, that this leads into because, you know, you have that type of approach for somebody. But let's talk about the person that has caught a charge. You know, and they have a charge that may not have anything to do with alcohol or drugs. They've caught a drug or a charge because they were doing drugs and they, you know, did some very risky things and hurt some people and, you know, they robbed or they, you know, did petty larceny or they did something that was a criminal offense. So now they're locked up and the families are told to just leave them there. Isn't that also a way for the families to be able to take control because they can bond that person and have a stipulation in the bond that says, hey, listen, if they use or if they have a problem, they go back to jail. And then you can bring them through the same recourse and bring them through the process to get them help?
Yes. And I tell people that when they call me for a Marchman Act, and I quote them a fee and tell them what it costs to have me go through this 90 days with them and hearings and dealing with the medical providers. And I ask them, I say, is your loved one in trouble? And they say, oh, yeah, they got arrested. They have a pending criminal case for burglary or for grand theft, which are usually folks that are addicted have those ancillary related charges. So I said, it's perfect. It's not perfect that it happened, but it's perfect because instead of paying a criminal defense lawyer for the criminal case and then paying me to do the Marchman Act, we can get the same thing accomplished. Correct. They could be put on bond. Now, ethically, my obligation is, and my primary obligation is to look out for the best interest of my client. So I can't exactly get hired by the family on a criminal case and force a defendant into treatment that they don't want or aren't willing to get voluntarily. But what I can do is I could say to a criminal defendant, hey, you're going to go to prison unless we get a downward departure, possibly, let's say they have, prior criminal record and they're facing prison time for a burglary, for example. We might be able to get a downward departure if you, let's say, are dual diagnosis and you have you're bipolar and you're addicted to benzodiazepines or you've got a combination of things. We can rely on mental health in combination with a drug addiction to get a downward departure, or we can get you on probation with a special condition that you just do the outpatient IOP that you were being asked to do for the past 10 years. But now, if you don't do it, you go to jail. So it's the same threat on the Marchman Act as it is if someone got arrested and is put on probation, that if they don't comply, they go to jail. The difference is in the Marchman Act, it's a little bit of a longer process because you have to file a motion in front of the judge and say, hey, they're not complying with your order to go to treatment. I want a rule to show cause hearing why that person should not be held in contempt of court for ignoring your order to go to treatment. Whereas in the criminal case, it's just you're on probation. If you don't go, you violate, and that's it. You go to prison. But either way,
to make it very clear,
that rope around somebody to force them to go. And then you just got to hope this is the time that it's going to work. Eventually, no matter how many times somebody's walked away from treatment, you've got to always hope that you're going to find the right place to send them that's going to work. And eventually, many times it does. Sometimes not the first time around, but it eventually works. So you can't give up.
I think that being said, one of the things that I wanted to clarify is that the Marchman Act is a civil matter, and criminal, of course, is criminal, correct?
Yes, and as a civil matter, it's not only civil, it's in the mental health division. So they have even stricter privacy restrictions on that. So there's no criminal record. if you go through a Marchman Act and you're forced into treatment, and you go through the 90 days and you get detoxed and stabilized and then go into a residential program and you succeed and you go to the IOP and you're good, and then you're going to NA meetings and you're back on track with your life, maybe in a 3/4 way house. When you apply for a job, no one's going to ever know any of that stuff ever happened. It's not going to show up anywhere.
Beautiful. Now, we've gone through these two scenarios. One of the things that I also want to do is let people know the history behind Robert. Robert was part of the original drug court in Florida that started out in Goldstein's Court down in Miami many years ago. And can you give us a little bit of history on that and how it was important for you to have that position, for you to be able to come forward in life to be able to help others?
Yeah, that's an interesting. So when we started drug court in the late 80s, it was the end of the cocaine cowboy era in Miami, and there were so many people getting arrested for possession of cocaine. They didn't have any room in the Dade County Jail to put anyone. I mean, the Escobar cartel still had cases on the calendar in 1989 when I started there. There were still all the leftover cases. So, and they created this drug court. The public defender in my courtroom was Hugh Rodham, Hillary Clinton's brother, which was quite an interesting event because it brought his brother-in-law, who then was the governor of Arkansas, to come down to Miami to play golf, mainly to play golf. But in addition to that, he came and checked out our drug court and saw what we were doing. We were forcing people into a treatment program. It's still there on 85th Street and 27th Avenue in Miami, and they have to do acupuncture. They go through a treatment program, and we have them come to court every 30 days. We see how many times they had a dirty urine, and it was a successful program, and it was something that I loved to see, that people who were arrested for possession would avoid a felony conviction and they get their charges dropped at the end. So I left the state attorney's office because my wife said if I don't make money, she's not going to be happy or wouldn't let me in the house. So then I started chasing ambulances. So that I've been a successful personal injury lawyer for over 25 years. And then I said, you know what, it's time to start giving back to society. And then when I heard about this Marchman Act many years ago, I said, this is drug court without the criminal case. This is the feel-good part of my practice, when I get people that I can help and help save a life, help get that 24-year-old kid into a treatment program. So it's full circle because it's not a profitable part of my practice, and I have to spend more time running to court on Marchman Acts than I would ever have to spend on many of my personal injury cases. But I feel like I have a purpose when I do those. So yes, if I wasn't a drug court prosecutor back then, I probably would never have gotten involved in doing the Marchman Act cases. So from 1989, paying it forward all the way to 2018. So I'm doing what I did when I started my career, but this time, instead of waiting for someone to get arrested, it's the family that initiates the case.
Love it. So with that being said, what's your next show you're going to see?
Oh, well, Dead & Company with their newest reincarnation of Jerry Garcia, known as John Mayer, was the most unbelievable guitar player today. He may not be faster than Joe Bonavassa or some other of these people, but he has so many different genres. He could be the John Mayer that romances my wife and her friends, and they think he's just the greatest guy in the world. And then he throws on a tie-dye and breaks out a shakedown street jam, or he became Jerry Garcia. So they have this event that they did last year. They're repeating it this year. It's in January. It's called Playing in the Sand, and a take on their famous song Playing in the Band. And what they're doing is they're doing 2 or 3 live concerts at Los Cabos, I think it is, somewhere in Mexico. And it's very limited. There's only about 10,000 or 4 or 5, maybe less, maybe about under 1,000 people that are able to go, because you fill up these villas. And these are for the rich deadheads, because it's like $4,000 for 3 days to go see Dead & Company in Mexico. And it's like a private concert. Everyone that went last year said it was unbelievable.
So here you go. 877 Gluck
So
Law.
I'm going to, well, the trick is either A, talking my wife into going to Mexico and not listening to any of the music, which she won't go see a Grateful Dead concert ever, or talking her into letting me go without her. So I haven't really approached that yet, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out.
Well,
because the last time I
to
took
the
my
show,
wife to a
you've
Grateful
already
Dead
done it.
concert, the last time I took my wife to a Grateful Dead concert was 1989 when Steve Miller Band opened up for the Grateful Dead, and Jerry Garcia came out on stage, and Steve Miller and Jerry Garcia played Take the Money and Run together. And then what I discovered that day, with 80,000 people in the Meadowlands, my wife was facing the crowd instead of the stage, just staring at all the dancers and ignoring the music. But she had a good time.
I love it, man.
But I don't think she'd ever go again.
Well, here, and again, you know, the rock and roll dead head lawyer, Robert Gluck. 877 Gluck Law if you want to check out Robert.
30 years so far.
That's
how long it's been.
So, Robert, in closing, give them your website, too.
So the website is my name. It's www.robertgluck.com. And I have a ton of videos on my website, videos about Marchman Act cases, videos about criminal cases, videos about personal injury cases, anything that you want to learn about those three areas or anything that you want to learn about in general Florida law, you can go right to my website or call me. And I even have my cell phone right on the website.
Beautiful, man. Robert, thank you for all you do for the community and the people that you help and the people that you have helped over the years with Rockers in Recovery. And, you know something, man? You're a great guy, and we appreciate everything that you do.
Well, John, and of course, I throw that right back at you, and I appreciate it, man. We all appreciate everything that you've done over the years as well.
You bet, brother. We're going to have you back on because we like to.
Well, I'd like to be back on, so I'll look forward to it.
All right, cool. Have a great day. Thank you for being a part of Waking Up Blessed today, Robert. We look forward to having you back on.
Have a grateful day is what you meant to say.
I love it. You have a grateful day too, my brother.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys, there you go. Robert Gluck on Waking Up Blessed. Robert's a great guy. Funny as hell, man. If you know him personally, he will make you laugh all the time. He's just a great guy. We want to thank everybody for tuning in today and being part of Waking Up Blessed with our friend Robert Gluck. And most importantly, if you're out there today and you're struggling and, you know, you need help, you know, you don't have to struggle alone. You can call and ask for some help. Call 800-280-2418. That's 800-280-2418. I want to thank SoberMap and SoberMap.com. It's SoberMap app. You can download it to your Android or iPhone and find local meetings in your area just like Yelp works. It's the same concept. Check them out at SoberMap.com. Check us out at RockersInRecovery.com. You can listen Monday through Friday to Waking Up Blessed just by clicking on the Listen Live button. And the current show is right at the top of the page. Again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in and being a part of our world. Have a blessed day, and we look forward to being back with you here tomorrow, Waking Up Blessed, 9 a.m. to 9:30. And, of course, again, go to RockersInRecovery.com, click on the Listen Live button. You guys have a blessed day.
Rockers in Recovery Radio is based on opinion only and is not meant to treat or diagnose any health or mental health issue of any kind. If you feel you need help for any health-related issues, please contact a physician or mental health professional. The opinions expressed by our guests are not necessarily those of Rockers in Recovery.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.